What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. We are talking about all of the subjects that is going on, including asteroids hitting the Northwest and permanent street closures forever. Yes, you heard it right. Even after this crisis ends, there's going to be places you can't go. So we will be right back with that information. Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone who helps the show, including my beautiful mods, except for Bones. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's have a damn good time.
Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Be a bad mascot, take the mask off.
All right, what is going on, guys? My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. In fact, our number is 224400 Marf. It will be scrolling on the black line at the very bottom of your screen. You can actually call and press option 4 and get through right to the live show. Now, there's other options there. Make sure to check all 4 options out if you are calling our phone tree. Again, this is now 3:38 p.m., 5/8/2020. So all of the recent news is going to be in today's show. You can actually follow along. We don't say anything without actually backing up where we got it, unless it's opinion, and then we will clarify so. So just to show you real quick, on our website, you can actually go and look. It's organized by thumbnail, so you will look for this, including our temporary logo here, designed by Denny. Thank you, Denny. And then, of course, you will see that there is a thumbnail there. Then you will click it, and you will see that every single article, video, Twitter, Twishers, doesn't matter what we're looking at today, you'll have access to it. So we don't just say something without backing it up and saying, oh yeah, we got it from this. We actually give you the source. Then at the end of the show, there will actually be callers here that will actually be done live on the show. So by the end, you will be able to see any document, video, photo that a caller ends up sharing with us. So again, there's Marfoogle News, our main channel at 155,000 subscribers. Make sure to check that out on YouTube. And then, of course, you are most likely watching on our family stream over on DLive, almost 20,000 subscribers, or our backup channel on YouTube, which is at about 116,000 subscribers, almost 117. So it's going to be an awesome night tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to get through a ton. Let me introduce my co-host and ex-producer now, new production team manager. I just give him a new title every 3 days. Dex, are you there, and can we do a sound check?
What was that? That's funny. Yeah, man, I'm here. Hey, Adam. Hello, Foogle fam.
Well, for some reason, I was going to say ex-girlfriend, and I was like, why am I saying that? So I just had to come up with something on the fly.
That was funny.
Yeah.
By the way, that intro song, I can't help but bounce up and down in my chair when that plays.
They call it chair dancing during the shoutro. But yeah. So, Dex, obviously, your state has kind of opened up a lot of doors. They have opened up tattoo shops and restaurants and things like that. Meanwhile, my state is now permanently closing streets. So we're going to talk about that right now. And I think that this is probably one of the biggest things, because once you give them an inch, they will take a foot. So what do you think about this whole thing going on here? Obviously,
I went out today, and it was really interesting because it felt like here in Georgia, at least in my town, it was traffic, it was crowded. You didn't know there was this event going on that we're having the CB going on. And the only difference was when I went into one store, I had to drop off a package at like UPS or whatever, and there was those 6 foot distances you had to deal with. But the rest of it, man, it just looked like normal traffic. People were out everywhere. Feels like it's back to normal, but I know it's probably not that way everywhere. And then what's going on in your neck of the woods? And I guess it's even happening in other places. This whole notion of closing streets. I'm not really sure I understand that. That's
permanently
permanent, right?
So, okay. So it says Seattle to permanently close 20 miles of streets to traffic so residents can exercise and bike on them. Now this is part of the open thing that they're saying is that it will be used more for exercising and bike riding. Okay, first of all, we're not the only state, and again, other states are taking our lead. Now, we are one of the model states, again, with our facial recognition system. With this system, now other states are already doing it, which we've grabbed. In fact, we're going to show you here the other states that are so far looking at this. So originally they're starting this to help with the CV, but they've made it absolutely perfectly clear that it's going to stay this way afterwards. So you will not have freedom of travel through these areas anymore if you do not live there or if you are not delivering something with one of the approved delivery systems. It says the Stay Healthy Streets initiative started in April to temporarily provide more space for residents to get out of the house and exercise while maintaining social distancing during the pandemic. It says Seattle Mayor Jenny A. Durkin said Thursday that the closures will be permanent. People are encouraged to skate, walk, jog, bike, and roll down the closed streets. Only vehicular traffic from delivery drivers, first responders, sanitation crews, so the garbage men, and residents are allowed access. It says we've witnessed a 57% drop in traffic volumes accessing downtown Seattle during Governor Jay Inslee's Stay Healthy, Stay Home order. 57%. So half of the traffic is, more than half of the traffic is gone, almost 60%. Now, I've been to all of these different places. In fact, one of the neighborhoods being featured, it seems like all of North Seattle, Green Lake, Ballard, all of these areas that are included in this are very kind of hoity-toity Subaru socks and sandals kind of neighborhoods. Literally, you cannot walk a single 10-foot stretch without seeing a Subaru wagon. No offense to Subaru wagon owners, but that is like taken to the extreme in these neighborhoods. And they are literally closing them to through traffic, which I think is nuts. How are they going to enforce this? Again, some of the things that they've done during this, of course, you've got churches are closed and pot stores are open. You've got lots of different arguments here. You've got certain places, ma and pa's closed, but you of course got the huge corporations open. It's really nuts to see the stuff that is going on right now. So with this,
hey Adam,
yeah,
are those parts of town? Are they like devoid of city parks? I mean, don't you guys have trails and places people can walk?
No. We have more than enough, and these areas have more than most of these places in the country have. I mean, you're talking about every 3 or 4 blocks you have a huge area. One of the areas that I saw was Green Lake, which I have. I grew up and went to Green Lake thousands of times. And again, that place is one big park. It's a 3.5 mile park, and they're closing the area down that's that. So why does this concern people? Well, it's concerning because it is happening everywhere. This is not just a Seattle thing. It's not just a yuppie neighborhood thing. We're talking about permanently closing it to vehicle traffic for many places around the country. Some would even say, oh, he's sensationalizing it. No, not this time. Not at all. This is really happening, and this is going to be the model. So when you look at the big picture of what's going on, a lot of people are starting to really, really see some nerve-wracking things here. So let me show you again. So this is permanent. So even after this crisis is gone, or if this crisis didn't exist, this is part of their plan. Now, what is even crazier, my aunt, when I told her this, she goes, well, you know that there's documents, and now there's talking about this in Seattle, that they want no vehicles in Seattle by 2025. This is actually one of their public goals, is to not have any vehicle traffic by 2025. I don't know how that possibly works. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know how they think they can do this. It would make sense if you said, hey, I want to have all electric vehicles by 2025, but no vehicles. That's just absolutely nuts. What is really going on here, and what are we about to see? Now, it says New Mexico town near vast U.S. reservation shuts everyone out. Now, of course, we've talked about New Mexico before over the last week. A lot of people have been talking about it because it is virtually shut down. They almost say it's M-law over there. It says out of Gallup AP, like clockwork, and this is, again, the Associated Press, like clockwork, payday arrives, and tens of thousands of people from the Navajo Reservation and other rural stretches of along the New Mexico-Arizona border flood into Gallup, a freewheeling desert oasis of just 22,000 that can quickly quadruple in size with all of the visitors. Not now, as the modern-day trading post reels under a CV outbreak that has infected more than 1,400 and killed 31 in the city surrounding rural county, overrunning a patchwork healthcare system. Gallup has gone into extreme lockdown. We're talking about crazier than woo. And we've got barricades are manned by state police and National Guard, keeping out anyone who doesn't live there or face an emergency. So they, again, over there are shutting this down, and they say that this is, and the mayor says that they are going to keep part of these places shut down after the fact. This is exactly what we did not want to hear. It says, on Thursday, hundreds of cars idled at a roadblock in hopes of entering town just before the lockdown was extended for 3 more days under provisions of the State Riot Control Act. Holy crapola. It says the dividing line traced by roadblocks is also tugging on sensitivities about birthrights and inequities, and a Native American visitors worry about the social stigma of being locked out because of the contagion. So this is the Navajo Reservation, one of the nation's largest reservations with 175,000 people in it. Coincidence? We don't know. Nashville closing streets to local access to promote social distancing. Again, will this end at the very end? Seattle is one of the few that's been public about it, even in their public plan, saying, hey, we don't want any vehicles by 2025. They are not publicly saying that this will not end at the very end of this, but it seems like there's quite a pattern across the United States. So again, we have to prepare ourselves for a different world. We are literally living in a different world right now. It says out of Nashville, Tennessee, the city of Nashville is announcing a 4.5 miles of temporary street closures in 8 neighborhoods in an effort to provide additional outdoor space for walking, running, and biking. Effective Saturday, May 9th, the following streets will close to through traffic. And they will remain open, however, for local access, including deliveries. This is the exact same thing. So this is a test, seeing if they can shut down all traffic through them, everything else. Some would say this is amazing. Oh my gosh, the property values will go up and cars won't be driving by. You won't hear traffic all the time. You won't hear this. You won't hear that. Is that really worth the whole fact that they're going to be shutting down streets permanently for freedom of travel? Let me ask the chat that. YouTube, what do you guys think? I see T. Fisher, Ridge Runner, Johnny B, Wetsuits, Do Not Give Up, says, hey everyone. Charles, Wellington, Florida, in the chat. What's going on? Bobby James. You've got Nyla Dion, Luke Thompson. What do you guys think? It looks like we've got Rip Curl. We've got J-Stone for mods in here. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that this is proper? Do you think that this is okay? And then, of course, we've got over on DLive, thank you, West72, Mrs. Ozzy, Luna Soul, The Nameless Block, thank you guys for the lemons. End Times, thank you for 14 lemons, clicking the heck out of the button. And then Candace531, thank you guys for the lemons as well. And then, of course, I would love to hear your guys' opinions about this. How do you think this is going to go over, and do you think that this is going to be in more places? Dex, what do you think about this? What is your opinion?
Well, I've seen in long ago in the past, like a blighted area of a town, you might turn in a little semi, block half of the back alley or something into a market street and make it where people can walk on and there's stores and shops. But this is a lot bigger. Like you're talking, at least what I'm hearing from your town, it's a lot of streets and it's a lot of miles of streets, and that's a big deal. And it seems like there's an agenda, right? Especially when you look at some of the other statements that are made, there's probably more of an agenda here than just saying, hey, let's give more outdoor space for people to go walk around. Because I understand you have tons of parks, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens around the rest of America, and it's happening in other cities, and maybe other Foogle fan members can tell us what's going on too in their town.
And someone, Chikowowski, says, stand up, fight back. Again, these things are happening in incremental. Are people in Florida or in Colorado or New York going to fight for Seattle to have rights to 8 miles of streets? Probably not. Are Seattleites, are Oregonians going to go fight for, say, New Mexico or Nashville streets to stay open? No, these are done in tiny, tiny steps, and it seems like subtly, if they do it in very small groups, that nobody really notices, because nobody's going to fight back just this one little change somewhere else. Nobody cares if it's not in their backyard. It's not happening here, so we don't care. But again, next, it will be your neighborhood. And you might think it's a good thing, but think about this. They will have utter and total control of any people. They can track better for this. The thing is they're publicly saying that they're doing this contact tracing stuff, that they are actually tracking people. They want everyone to have real ID with RFID, and it will be against the law to not have this on you. So you're talking about you have a tracking chip on you at all times that actually tracks where you go. This is a big deal, folks. And unless everybody's going to stand with each other, it's the thing is that we're so divided. What a better way to not have everybody kind of back each other up is right before all of this happens, we're completely divided. So divided that 50% and 50% of the country does not want to even talk to each other, let alone that. And then how do you further divide? Well, social distancing is a pretty dang solid thing to add to that. So nobody's talking, nobody's backing each other up, nobody even wants to get within 6 feet. Well, some places 30 feet within some other people. So it just seems like this is kind of working together for lots of stuff.
How are they? Yeah, how are they going to enforce this, Adam? So this is what as I thought more about what you were describing, at least in Seattle. They're saying,
in this neighborhood?
The roads are still functional in the sense that authorities can go up and down them, and residents can go up and down them.
Who do you know on the street? Who do you know?
Yeah,
Who do you know? Yeah, where does she live? Where does she live? Oh yeah? Yeah.
But then so here's what's going to happen. Here's what I predict. Okay, they're creating something that is going to create a new problem. So the new problem is going to be, hey, we've earmarked these streets for only residents and only the UPS driver, right? And that's it. And authorities. Well, now we have to put a police officer out there. Well, now we can't afford to do that. So now we need technology. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in some sort of technology that you have to have RFID on your car. We now know the comings and goings of everyone
parking permits
up and down these streets. Right.
Well, and if they had the little checkers, so just like anybody who's ever done security, you walk by and you actually tap something in every area. So you see those mall guys, they'll walk up to a wall. It's just like a little pad. You'll see them tap the wall and you're like, what the heck are they doing? They're checking so their bosses can see that they've done their rounds. So they actually digitally go ding and check in. They've walked here, ding, 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 ding. Well, they could have the same kind of system, only have something, even a bumper sticker or a window sticker that has a, broadcasting signal. And then when you pass over, just like right now, they have those two little black, hoses that measure the air going out of them to check speed, right? They do surveys all over the city. And if you've ever noticed this, there's two ropes and it measures when your tires hit it. Both tires, when they get the measurements of when it hits both, the bub up, they know how fast you're going and they use that in data. Same kind of thing in neighborhoods all over the place, only it will be an actual digital signal. It will say this person lives here, he's okay. Then you get into the fact that we have Ring doorbell cameras with facial recognition, and everybody is connecting them. They're getting connected to the internet. They're also getting connected to the police station. So one gentleman drives into your neighborhood that does not live there, that does not have a pass or hasn't set up online, that he's visiting his friends, and this is in the future. I'll just call it right now. He has to go onto a special website like visitafriend.com, .org, .gov, and then they go, well, I'm going to go to 555 4th Street. Well, if you don't register at that website, when you drive past it, it goes ding, ding, ding. You don't even know it. You pull up in front of the driveway visiting your friend. By the time you get to the door, there's 3 cops there. That might sound dystopian and crazy, but this looks like what they are kind of implementing here. Do you guys disagree?
I totally get it, Adam. And I think what we have to do is pay attention to how it's being done, because it sounds to me like your town is setting it up. It's a complete setup. Because like I mentioned earlier, in Atlanta, we've closed a street before and turned it into a market, but we closed the street. There's like pylons up and they look decorative and you cannot drive on it. So it's not like, we're creating a problem of deciding who's allowed to go there and then how do we deal with that problem. We just literally said, hey, we're going to turn this street into a walking street, and that's it. But this is different. So we need to look at what's happening in these cities. And if this is becoming a common thing where they're creating this access point problem, that's going to turn into, we need technology, which is going to turn into more tracking, more tracing.
Exactly. So, with this is it's only going to get, in more cities. Somebody said, I'll never put up with it. Let's see here. What's funny is this is not, hold on here. You guys over on the tube are way behind. Let's see, Pennsylvania. You guys, a lot of people are having issues with this, and it's not all public. You've got little towns doing the same exact thing that these big ones are. CJ Blaze, thanks for reminding people to smash that like button or dislike button. If you hate the video, that actually helps with engagement. So please smash that dislike button if you hate me. Let's see here. And then we've got, of course, Oakland closing additional streets, 2 cars to promote the distancing. It says Oakland mayor implores residents to give Lake Merritt a break. Again, this is just yet another place. Is this going to come back? The thing is you've got Seattle being open about it and saying, no, we're not actually going to open these back up. That actually leaves room for all of these other places to do the same. Not only that, the technology that is actually getting put up right now, and I won't mention that, you guys all know what I'm talking about, is getting put up 24/7, doesn't matter, rain, sleet, snow. CJ Blaze has an awesome set of videos. She followed this one tower that was being put up during thunderstorms. I mean, like, they're literally like on some sort of deadline putting these things up. When that technology is completely rolled out, which, again, they've had a lot of time, no traffic, traveling, everything because of this, it's getting set up like crazy. I'm just seeing them go up like towers in a time lapse. I mean, it's really nuts. So once that kicks in, a lot of technological advancements will end up coming in. Now, it says, to get off of that subject, again, what do you guys think about that? I would love to hear. What do you think about them permanently? And I'm talking about past the crisis, closing down your streets. So your street, your residential street, closed to all through traffic. It sounds great in sense. It sounds bad if you are anyone who reads that thing that ends in tuition. So, why farmers dump food and crops while grocery stores run dry and Americans struggle. So this is kind of goes into why, or at least they explain, if I can get this back here, see. This explains or tries to explain why. It says, as the CV pandemic continues to wage a silent war across the country, American farmers continue to are being forced to pour out milk, crush eggs, toss fresh fruits and vegetables, euthanize livestock, and plow under perfectly robust crops. Why? Well, it says, meanwhile, financially beleaguered Americans are lining up at food banks in unprecedented numbers. In fact, I showed you the other day, it was a 2-mile long line into one of the food banks. Humanitarian leaders fear a global starvation pandemic is burgeoning. This is what some of the humanitarian leaders are saying. And grocery store shelves are sparsely filled. So what has gone wrong? It says a dramatic dip in demand, weak links in the highly consolidated supply chain, and decades of industry monopolization, experts say. It says, quote, a large portion of our food is now produced for restaurants, hotels, schools, and institutional users. About 50%, so half. And it says those markets have effectively closed up. It says there is not enough demand for home use now. Dan Glickman, executive director of the Aspen Institute, said, and former U.S. Secretary of Agriculture. So he knows his stuff, or at least in this category. It says, quote, nor is the supply chain set up for this rapid transformation. Another thing that I will say, and I just talked to a good friend of mine. This friend works at a pawn shop, and I am not kidding you. You can ask any of them. This person actually runs about 7 or 8 stores, and they said they have never seen anything like this. Guess what you would think, and I would love for you guys in chat to say what you think their business has just done. It's a pawn store, mind you, so people bring in their stuff. They get loans on it for items. What do you think that this event has done to pawn shop business? Put in the chat right now. I'd love to see it. In fact, I'll even put it on this so it will be recorded for everybody to see that. In fact, the chat should pop up here in a second. What do you guys think that the pandemic has done to pawn shop business? And I'm getting to a point here because it's actually incredibly eye-opening to see this. Gone up, skyrocketing. Now, have they gotten more loans or have they gotten less loans? What do you think? Boomed it. It's booming. Business has gone up. Gold prices, 500%. Quadruple business. It's skyrocketed, tripled, quadrupled. So hilarious. So everybody there said all sorts of things, gone up like crazy. And this you can confirm with your local pawn shop. Everybody is coming in to buy things, but no one is loaning. Their main source of really good money, this is where most of their profit comes from, is taking loans on your stuff and then having you pay more to get it out. And then when you do not get it out, they double up on it, and then they can actually sell it for much, much more. They are getting, this is a quote, 1 to 2 loans a day in one of the busiest stores in the Northwest. In the busiest stores, they're getting 3 to 4 loans a day. Instead, they are not having anyone bring anything in. Nobody is loaning, and everyone is buying. What in the world? Why? So, again, I don't know if you guys can explain this. Maybe it's the stimulus, but then that means that the stimulus, all these people went in, they're getting big TVs, they're getting all of this expensive stuff they never could get before. And then what happens? And I said, well, and they all say, and they keep telling their employees, because their employees make commission, they keep telling them, in a couple of weeks it will change. All of those people will start. It hasn't. It's been 3 months, and they're still not taking in any loans. So I thought that was that's weird. Is it not? You would think right now more than ever people would be going and loaning their stuff or giving them physical collateral. So, hey, here's my TV, give me money because I'm flat broke. But that's not happening. Is that not just like a mind twister? Nobody can get it. Go to your local pawn shop and you can hear the same exact thing. Everybody is buying stuff. So what happens? So what does that also mean? What does that also mean in just the general sense of things? That means that the people that are usually in that lower category or need that money or essentially use that service, usually they're the people that may not be exactly good with money, or they may not have liquid cash, right? They don't have the flow, or they're, just normal people. They're working 9-to-5 jobs and they don't pay great. So they're going in and they're doing that. Well, that also means that the worst of it hasn't hit yet. Because whatever happened, maybe it is the stimulus funds, maybe people added an extra kid or two, I don't know. But once that runs out, when they start seeing those ponds go up, that's when we really start seeing the trouble. Because honestly, if that is a huge business all over, every city's got them, it's one of the oldest trades. If that is not taking in loans, that means people are not even that bad yet. But when that does go, it's going to get absolutely nuts. And I'm gonna follow up with my friend. I hear all sorts of crazy stories, but that really did confuse me. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but when you take that into effect, that really means that people are not at their brokest right now. They're not taking the TV off their wall to go pawn it. Not yet. And guess what? This is going to continue, and they're going to continue to not work. Is there going to be another stimulus check? Or is rent going to start up again at some point, and nobody's going to have that 3 months back rent? It's going to and I just have a bad feeling about this. And another thing, I went downtown Seattle, and this anybody can confirm, and you can probably confirm it in cities all over the country. All these different businesses, all of the main luxury businesses, everything is boarded up. Everything. And I'm talking bars, restaurants, everything. They have literally, it looks like a dystopian future. It is absolutely scary. It's the coolest part. If anybody's from Seattle, go down to Belltown. In Belltown, they did something that I actually thought was awesome. All the places that were boarded up, different artists had made murals on all of these boards. So it almost is a cool area to visit just for the murals on the boarded up windows. So you almost forget that they're literally boarded up against looters and rioters. And again, it's not happening now, but what do they foresee? Why are they boarding all of this stuff up? So, let me ask you that. Almost 3,000 over on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining me. I really do appreciate you guys coming tonight. Again, tomorrow, I have to prep that up too. You guys, be there tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. We might actually be starting earlier than that. We don't know. But that is when we're supposedly around then. We are going to be getting the gold badge of global partner over on DLive. Thank you for the lemons. Johnny Doom, Queen Fisher RN, Chips Are Fallen, Angela, Mr. Aussie, Auntie M, Bogstown, thank you for the lemons. Has boosted everywhere in Kentucky. End Times says extra unemployment money. That could be the answer. And I told you I talked to one of my buddies who runs a chain of dealerships. He says that the salesmen there are now making more than they would on a bad month, or even as much as they would make on a good month. $5,400 even that they are making every single month that they are at home because of some of the extra money. So you're talking about $5,400. Even here, that is actually low. Anywhere, a one bedroom on average is $2,100 here. So you're talking about rent plus actually a good amount more if you're on unemployment. But where is all that unemployment coming from? And is it going to continue? Tower Bear probably booming, says Tower Bear. Again, the sales are booming, but that is not actually how they make a good chunk of their money. They only make a small margin of their money. Their money comes from doing those loans. It says, and taking things in low and selling it in high. And nobody is bringing them stuff either. The stores are empty. Global Impact band together not. For there may not be a future, says Global Impact. End Times, thank you for the Ninja Genie, says they put up 3 roundabouts between me and the freeway, 2 of them in place. They don't even need them. Exactly. Freebird, or Freebird. Thank you for the lemon. PHX Breeze, Sly the Coffee, Sweet Jenna 77. Good to see you here tonight. Bogstown, seems to me that it's all D cities doing this, or Democratic cities. That's actually, it's true so far. You just watch. It's all subtle. Queen Fisher RN, the fight is local now. Vote the bad ones out. My aunt said the same thing. She said, people can't really complain because we're the ones who vote them in. Cutthroat Mom, Declare One. We've got Cries, 2797. Thank you guys for the lemons. I appreciate it. Kihaja Fly Girl, I think I'm saying it right now. Slow rollout of Agenda, 2-1. Again, Kahaja, slow rollout of Agenda 2-1. Don't know if you did that on purpose, but thank you. And then Grandma Sassy Pants, Red Pen 7. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support. And let's see here. Cuban Warrior Princess and a few others. Welcome, Yellowbird 2.0. Thank you for being here. Okay, and then what do you guys think about that? Pretty nuts. If you guys want to help us in a different way, though, please make sure to protect yourself with the EMP shield. This is an actual device used by DoD, DHS, and now they're officially on the DEMSO team protecting the Texas grid. This is a Keystone military standard product. It actually protects against E1, E2, and E3. Even if you don't get this through us, go through somebody else, go around us. This is what I've asked all Foogle family members to try to get. They do contests all the time, so if you can't afford one right now, which a lot of you probably can't, just make sure to stick around. We're trying to do everything we can to try to get everybody to get one in their house, on their car. You can actually protect your solar system, your ham radio. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP if you would like to check them out. Proceed goes to us as well, and it helps us as a channel. It's 100% American made, and it's a veteran-owned business. All right, and then with that being said, we've got the big one, still likely, and I've talked about this since I started this channel almost 3 years ago, and this is a huge thing on my channel as well. This is actually why I started it. I started this channel to talk about the Cascadia Subduction Zone, to actually share videos of PowerPoint presentations on the Cascadia Subduction Zone about this subject, to teach different family members who didn't really know what the hell this was about. We're going to have a 9.0 that literally in history, and everybody agrees, all the scientists that are normally arguing about every little detail, they say that it is going to be a 9+ earthquake. 9.0. Humongous. Bigger than Japan, bigger than India Boxing Day, and it's going to happen on along from Vancouver, Canada, all the way down to California. Every time this happens, it has resulted in a huge tsunami. There are Native American myths. There are legends in Japan. The wave went all the way to Japan. The last time this happened was in 1700. It is now 2020. That means it is 80 years overdue, and it is locked and loaded. This is something that I hope people aren't scared by, but they want to realize that Washington, Oregon, and California are not even to a 1 in preparedness from a scale to 1 to 10. This is what the experts say. We have some of the most unreinforced masonry buildings out there. And again, this article says it is still likely because MagnaQuake did not relieve much stress on the Wasatch fault lines. The magnitude 5.7 earthquake that struck Magna in March didn't relieve much stress on the fault lines running along the Wasatch Front and Major Trembler. The big one is still expected in the future, a seismologist told a state committee on Thursday. It says, quote, "There's still a lot of strain and there's still a lot of energy waiting out there on a fault that can be released. I don't know why people thought that this was going to go away or something, that something was going to release this energy, but they, as far as all of the stuff we've shown you, and we've shown you actual documents, we've given you government reports, and we've linked them. Just like everything else, we've linked these on every video we do about it on our website. In fact, usually on this, if you go back through any of our earthquake shows, which we've done mucho often, make sure to go back and look at some of the stuff we've put there, because it's a lot of information and it is absolutely all pointing in the same direction. They're waiting on this. They are frantically driving around the city in reinforcement trucks, these white vehicles, where they're trying to actually, essentially, I guess, what do you call it, Dex? I'm missing the word. Where you, it's not revamp, it's where you add rebar to a building. What is that called? I'm trying to look for
reinforcement.
No.
Sorry.
Somebody will get it in chat, I'm sure. It's literally called something when you add iron to a building, and I don't know why I am not. I mean, you can say that. People will get what you mean. They're frantically adding reinforcement to all of these different buildings. There's a list that was put out about 6 months ago that had everybody shocked. They couldn't believe it. They are actually moving schools, dozens and dozens of schools, out of the inundation zone of the tsunami. They are installing these humongous stairways of concrete that are, what do they call them, Dex? Do you remember the name for them? They're called vertical evacuation routes. Literally stairs up to just a concrete thing about 100 feet up. Because they're expecting 60-foot waves. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that was the name. Yeah, they're the evacuation towers. They have them at schools. I saw one in your area where they built the school in a shape that it had a tower on top of the building, so they would go up in the building to get to the top.
So built right in, and then and you know how that was started? This is how bad it was. That all of the kids wrote a paper on this, and it got local and national coverage. The actual students said, we're not prepared for this. We're sitting ducks in this area where the wave is just going to wash us out. They ended up doing that, and then all of a sudden everybody cared. And then all of a sudden bills got passed like that, and they said, we're moving these schools, we're moving out of the way. They did not do anything until actual students stuck together and gathered and spoke up and said, we're sitting ducks here. We're going to, we're going to end up getting washed away. And it ended up getting stuff done. So again, people can get stuff done. You have to have enough voices saying stuff about it. So remember, the general people outnumber anything and everything. So it says Coper told the Utah Seismic Safety Commission that while the earthquake that hit March was big and the latest on the Wasatch Front ever recorded, in the grand scheme of things, it was a moderate quake. So saying it didn't really unleash anything. It says a magnitude 7 trembler would release 90 times more energy than the Magna quake. Coper told the commission such a large earthquake historically occurs in the Salt Lake Valley every 1,000 to 1,500 years, and the last one of that size happened 1,400 years ago. It says, we shouldn't scare people and say the risk is way higher. It's about the same, he added, but we're still going to have this major hazard here in the Salt Lake City region and really along the Wasatch Fault. So again, with all of the stuff that's going on the West Coast and in Utah, and then you've got all these places that normally don't have earthquakes or having earthquakes. It's absolutely nuts. This was a very interesting story, and do you believe it? I know that a lot of people on Twitter, they were saying, I don't believe it. Check this out. Huge Tunguska crater was formed when an asteroid hit Earth and bounced back into space, causing the world's biggest explosion. So they're saying like pool balls, it smacked off of the Earth and went back out into space. One thing I thought of is how, if something like that would have happened, how big would this thing have to be? And our entire protection, our ecosphere, it would just bounce right in and bounce out? Like, that sounds nuts. It says a massive meteor that flattened part of Russia 100 years ago was so big that it may have bounced back into space after bursting over Earth. That's what I don't get. Because this thing, they said that it actually never, it didn't hit or whatever. But then they say it does. They said that it mostly exploded above, and that's what flattened all those trees in Tunguska. But yet again, now they're saying that it might have like skimmed and actually bounced off. I've never heard of that. It says, known as the Tunguska event, the explosion above Siberia in 1908 is the biggest ever documented, equivalent to 185 Hiroshima bombs. That's a lot of Hiroshimas. And this is the tree. So this is like a nuclear blast, only loads bigger. And I mean loads bigger. It says more than 80 million trees were knocked down over a remote area covering 830 square miles. Miraculously, no one was killed. This was out in the middle of nowhere. If this would have happened in New York or any other state, millions would have perished. It says as it exploded over our planet rather than hitting it, the Tunguska event left no crater behind. That's what confused me too. It says huge Tunguska crater was formed when asteroid hit Earth and bounced back into space. I love how they say it formed a crater, but then they say the Tunguska event left no crater behind, making it tricky for experts to determine what caused it. However,
are they trying to describe the trees versus the ground, maybe?
Well, you guys,
or are they just misreporting?
No. Are they saying that it skimmed and somehow got pushed back out like a trampoline? Like, I don't understand it. It basically says a new paper suggests that it bounced back into space following the explosion could be responsible. So did Russia have some sort of ancient secret, or not ancient, but some early technology that just blasted it the heck out of there or something? Or did aliens protect the Earth? It's just weird. There's been a lot of theories about it too. I'm talking a lot of theories. What do you guys think? Do you think did it explode, or how did it even do that? If it didn't leave a crater, and do you think that it was even a meteor? There's no proof to say that it hit. They say it exploded above. It's just kind of weird. Or do you think it was a time traveler that had a nuke? Who knows? If you guys haven't joined our Discord, now is more important than ever. People should be organizing and talking to each other and making sure they keep contact with each other. You guys should get in your local state group, which we have 50 state groups broken into multiple sections. Again, Washington, my state, has 6 different zones. So if you're in Seattle or New York or in Chicago or in Kansas, wherever you are in the United States, we have a group. And most likely, people are meeting on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis. For a bit there, we stopped physical meetings. But again, now I've told you guys, do whatever you want. That's up to you guys. Use your best judgment. As far as the military group, we have almost 500 active and retired military in our group. This is where we get so much of our great, amazing information. So make sure to join. You can go to marfooglenews.com. You can sign up for our Marfoogle alert system. So if anything was to go down, if we knew about anything beforehand, that is basically our backup. And you will actually get notifications of things, big events that we're doing. Go to marfooglenews.com. You can sign up for either or both Discord and Marfoogle alerts. U.S. to remove Patriot missile batteries from Saudi Arabia. Now, why would they be doing something like that? Dex, do you have any ideas on that? And Dex is not here. It says the U.S. is removing our 4 Patriot missile defense systems and dozens of troops deployed to Saudi Arabia amid heightened tensions with Iran, says the Wall Street Journal has reported. The military assets were sent to the kingdom in late September after a series of drones and missiles targeted the oil facilities. Remember when, of course, those hit and there was multiple videos of people going pop, 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 pop. But again, it wasn't people on the ground, it was drones. It says the attacks on the Aramco facilities shut down $5.7 million barrels, or I'm sorry, 5.7 million barrels per day of crude oil production, which is about 6% of total global supply, causing a spike in oil prices. Now, if you fast forward, it's all crashed anyways, so who knows what it really did. So again, us pulling these Patriot missiles is a pretty big deal. As far as these are I guess this is a huge system to actually take back out. Dex, are you there now? And of course, only.
Hey, Adam. I'm sorry. I'm here.
My bad. I know you were on the phone.
Yeah.
Patriot missiles being taken out of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing because of all the things that we're going to do is take away we've just put them in, didn't we? Like after that oil, the oil fields. I mean, like we put some in. We may have had some before, but
within about a month.
It just seems really strange that we would pull those back out unless we think there's no longer a risk. But I can't imagine that's the case. Especially
when we just put out a DHS bulletin that they are actually going to do something even more now. Or do we need those Patriot missile systems somewhere else? That's a thought.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thought. I can't imagine, like of all the things that we need, like we probably have so much Patriot missiles, right? Like I can't imagine like, oh, we're so low on them. We need to go grab the few that are over there that are protecting those fields or that ally, right? And especially with the tensions that are happening right across the water there with, Ryan. I mean, it's just weird. It just seems really odd. That's why, I was kind of questioning that one.
Well, and then not only this, so this goes right into our next story, which, again, we've been talking about this. We had, of course, Amy R. call in about the wheat mold. And now we've got a story about Russia halting wheat exports, deepening fears of global food shortages. Okay, so, Dex, I know the first thing you thought of when you saw this. Think about that. So we got a caller saying that their order was essentially canceled because of mold in a mass amount of this prepper wheat, right? This is a one of the staples of multiple foods. Dex, think about that. Now Russia is saying, nope, you can't have any of ours. Does that mean we are way worse off than we think?
Yeah, I think what we're about to see is what are the ramifications. Like, I don't know how much we import from them, right? But I know that they export. So, and we're a big producer. So if we're having losses, I don't know if they're having losses and they're holding back, or if they're just holding back because of what's happening around the globe. But I think what's going to have some ramifications is who do they export to, right? And who are those countries, and what's going to happen to their needs? And, of course, maybe other countries will try and step up and say, hey, we'll supply, because, this is an opportunity for other countries to get some, increase their GDP by selling out or exporting out. But if this famine that they're talking about is actually starting to happen, and it is about wheat, or wheat is a key part of it, then we need to pay attention, because they're doing something that the rest of the world said, hey, don't do that. Don't back out. Keep, your relations with the countries you're exporting to, because we need everything to sort of stay as stable as possible. We don't need somebody to go yank one of the gears out of one of the cogs out of the gear, right? And just everything falls apart.
Well, exactly. I mean, it almost seems like they know we are having a shortage, and then all of a sudden they pull back and go, nope, we're not going to let you get any of ours either. It's just, it's pretty wild what's going on. Or they're protecting what they do have because they know it's going to be incredibly valuable. We'll see. We're going to be following it. Of course, you can read the rest of this article over on marfooglenews.com. Then, of course, hundreds evacuated as wildfires rage in the Florida Panhandle. Now, I've been to this area. I've talked about my experience over there, and it's it would not be the greatest place to have a fire either. I mean, this is a hot place as well. It says firefighters in the Florida Panhandle have been battling fires that forced some 1,600 people to evacuate from their homes, and a stretch of interstate. 10 remained closed in both directions. Sorry, I point out my flaws and make them very annoying. In both directions, Thursday morning due to smoke, authorities said. A more than 575-acre fire in Walton County prompted about 500 people to evacuate. Authorities said that there's multiple structures were lost in the fire, which is about 65% contained as of Thursday morning. So we'll follow that. And again, for you Florida people, we have Jason, we have Central Florida Prep, we have all sorts of folks over there. As I said yesterday, we're just praying that you guys are okay and everything's going to go as planned. If you guys want to support us in a different way, make sure to check out the earthing stuff. Again, marfooglenews.com/earthing. If you have never done grounding, you should check it out. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/earthing. Okay, and then here we've got second U.S. Special Forces hostage Aaron Berry is paraded on Venezuelan TV. So they're kind of jingling him around like, ha, we've got your guy. It says the second U.S. citizen detained in Venezuela for his role in a failed coup on President Nicolas Maduro was shown speaking under duress in a video clip Thursday while being interrogated by Venezuelan officials. Now, the big deal here is they said that it was a botched takeout, a coup, that U.S. was behind it. Then, of course, we say it wasn't us, but yet we want to get those two guys out of there. They had 8 assailants that they took out. They kept these 2 guys alive. I think both of them are still alive. I don't know. But they tried to take out Maduro himself. And they said that it was actually funded by Guaido. Guaido is the guy who was trying to replace him and was backed by the U.S. So it could be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And according to our president this morning, he reiterated that they had nothing to do with it. And as a matter of fact, he said, this was really interesting. He said, if I was going to do that, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have taken my army in and it would have been done immediately and it would have been done right, which is what I said earlier. It's like, if we were really trying to do something and we wanted to be successful, we wouldn't have just sent two guys down with a couple other mercenaries and said, go take care of that. Right? He's like, no. I would go in and I would go in with the army and it would be done. And that was really interesting. The other thing about the story is when he was paraded on TV, they made him make statements like, T-Man told us to do that. And because, they're ex-military, they did certain signals like lifting their head quickly when they were answering or when certain things were said would show that they were under duress or show that that the information was wrong. And the way they turned their head or something else, I can't remember the signals they used, but these were common signals to reference that they were saying things, being forced to say things or coerced to say things, or that they were under duress.
Yeah, the whole body language thing. In fact,
right.
I think I saw a tweet from one of those body language experts saying that they were totally, had something in their back, essentially. So we'll see how that ends up. Over on YouTube, Carol Howlett, One Human Race Out Time to Grow. What is going on? Craig Gutowski says, Ontario, Canada in the house. What is going on, Ontario, Canada? I'm Alf. Hello, all, from beautiful Bend, Oregon. Sandwich, Deborah C., Randy Simmons. Thank you, guys. I haven't seen Susan Donahue over there yet, so happy to see you guys. Monica Kelly, Sippy Doodles, Murphy, Luke Thompson, Nyla Dean, Desi Cantor. Thank you. It says Central Indiana here. That is awesome. We got people from all over the country. Again, I hope that you guys are following all of this very closely. We're gonna end up following a lot of this Venezuela stuff. Again, I don't think it's on everybody's top of the list, but I do think it is important. I did not see this until I had reloaded. I'm sorry about that. John Raxness, seriously, can we keep this early East Coast time slot? I'm loving it, says John Raxness. We have talked about actually doing at least a day or two earlier like this. Again, yesterday I visited family that's no longer with us, and today we were trying to get it done a little bit earlier because I'm visiting with family that we do have. Again, it's kind of a big thing to go to visit that family. So we've got family in town and stuff. So yeah, we've talked about it multiple times. And actually, at 3 o'clock, I'm sure, Dex, you would love a 3 o'clock show or 2 o'clock show, 5 year time, because it's 3 hours later for you. and he's gone. Don't worry about it. I always get him when he's on the phone. John
You
Raxis,
do.
Foogle time. Which, by the way, it looks like we have full lines. We have one line open if you want to give it a try. It might have just filled up. I'm not sure. John Raxness, again, thank you. That is way too generous. We super appreciate it. Thank you for supporting, especially a platform like this. So thank you. And if I missed people earlier, I apologize. It did not reload. In fact, the last comment was about the pawn shop. Doc Bill says, FF. Very well, fantastic, Freddie. That could be. Indigo Reina, stay the hell out of Venezuela, says Indigo Reina. iPet Mermaid says Craigslist just hitting that yummy jack. I don't get that, but yeah. I love when I read things that are obvious, like side conversations. You guys are not paying attention at all. Not calling you out and have everybody stare at you or anything. Just kidding. Catherine at BP Earthwatch. We've got BP Earthwatch in the house. I think somebody said at BP Earthwatch, which, by the way, we're going to try to get. He's on board for tomorrow's show. We will make sure to try to see. He's a busy guy. Of course, he was one of the largest YouTubers ever. We're also going to have regular Foogle family on too. We're not going to just have big names on tomorrow. We're going to have everybody, because this is really because of all of you guys that we made it to Global Partner. It's everybody that was supporting us, everybody that comes every single day, everybody that watches the replay. Thank you for all the people that drink their coffee in the morning, East Coast people that wake up at 4 a.m. You guys are doing your hard work. All of you truckers that drive and listen to my show, I appreciate each and every one of you. And sometimes it really makes me emotional to think about all the people that have backed me up. Seriously, like it Dex knows too. We are trying to expand and make this into something, and I cannot tell you how appreciative we are of your support. End times. I don't know. Man, that's huge. End times. I want to help you give away 3 EMP shills. I have emailed you before going to see my mom tomorrow. Hit me up later this week. So I don't know if you mean you want to buy them and give them away. I don't think you would have to do that. But maybe we could actually, you know what I thought of? If multiple of us go up on a few of them and then give them away. I thought that would be a great idea too. We'll talk about that. And I'm sure that they would, if we were going to do something like that, we have encouraged, but they have been doing tons of giveaways because they know their actual goal is to help people. I don't know if you guys know this, but EMP Shield as a company, they actually help people, even help them learn how to do things to try to negate buying their own product. So they help people build Faraday cages and things like this. That would be something that, if you have something that they can't really help you with, or you don't have that much, they've actually helped people do that too, which I thought was absolutely amazing. End times, I will talk to you about that. And actually, I think that that would be not too hard to do. That's 3 devices though. That's about $1,000. So we would have to make it a group effort. Okay, and then it depends, I guess, on which device. 3 McDonald's workers hurt after customers attack over CV limits. So basically, they're saying you can only have this many or this many, or in this case, I think it's you can only have this many people in there, right? And then it says 2 were injured by gunfire and a 3rd was hurt in a scuffle, police said. 2 suspects have been arrested. It says 3 workers at an Oklahoma City McDonald's were injured Wednesday by gunfire because the restaurant's dining area was closed for social distancing. You have to be kidding. So it says the victims, 2 females and a male, 2 of them 17 years old, were hospitalized in non-life-threatening condition. So maybe they got, in the arm or in the leg or something. And again, they're totally okay. But again, this was over social distancing. It says they were asked to leave and they refused and produced a weapon. Henderson said the dining area was closed because of the virus. Absolutely nuts. People are just schizo. Susan Donahue, Adam, Dex, Mod Squad, and Foogle fam. Many thanks and much love. We can get through this together. And I don't know if you had room, but hashtag Team Humanity. Added that one in there for you. My Manuk, thank you. Again, End Times over on D-Live, which it looks like you've jumped to both platforms. You have gifted a ton of people our Marfia badge. You've given them, of course, basically a spot in the Marfia. So thank you so much for all of your support. Same with Amy R. Same with Sweet Melissa. Sweet Melissa, I just saw, again, we just had Sweet Melissa pledged on Patreon, and Anne-Marie Parker just pledged on Patreon. So thank you guys. Sacred Esoteric Wisdom just subscribed. Thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Liz LaMarche, thank you for being the last one out last night. She said the last comment was, what a show. Many thanks, Marf and Dex. Bogstown says, buy local if you can. I totally agree with that. DVK86, Seattle is the landing zone for the invasion. That I've had dreams about that. That's actually a scary thing for you to say. Again, Amy R is now gifting a ton of subscriptions to different people. So, in fact, Amy R just gave a badge to Tina Baker, Mimelick, Mosquitoes, Sailing Dogs. Thank you for resubbing. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Pitsy Woo, Obey777, Shutterbug, Johnny Doom, again, Amy R, Sippadoodles. All of these different people just got a gift from Amy R. Make sure to thank Amy R when you guys get that. Marfoogle is the best and most honest news source, says Debbie Jordan. Well, thank you. You guys can also give other people compliments in the when you end up doing a what I've done is I give a compliment to another mod, or if you you can compliment somebody, just another Foogle family member. Say this person's a great person, and call them out with the super chat or with the diamonds. I thought that was a cool idea. Texas Governor Abbott issues executive order freeing salon owner Shelley Luther from jail. Again, this was an executive order because she got put in jail for opening her salon. We covered this earlier. Dex, obviously, we put this in here because we wanted to give you guys the update on this. It says Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order, signed an executive order to bail this woman out, retroactively eliminating jail time for citizens who violate the state's stay-at-home rules, freeing salon owner Shelley Luther, who was jailed for 7 days and fined $7,000. $7,000 for keeping her business open, or actually not even, reopening it on the day they said it was going to be open, which is pretty messed up. But at the same time, you guys understand, a lot of folks are saying they'd rather be safe and just have it done. How many of you thought that this in the beginning, that if we just did like a Wuhan style lockdown, just did it for a month, that it would just all be gone, or like 3 weeks, this is all going to end at the end of the month, boom. And it hasn't. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going. We're literally on going on 4 months. This is nuts. A third of the year. Our summer, let alone our year, possibly 2 years, 3 years, probably the rest of our lives until the end of the world, we're going to be distancing each other. It's absolutely nuts. If you guys aren't getting notifications, make sure to go to marfooglenews.com. We actually have push notifications, so don't say you got a notification 3 days late. You actually can get notifications from us, at least on Android and on PC. Almost all browsers do our push notifications. If you're on iOS, it might not get it, but you can always download, Chrome or something else, or any of the other ones, Firefox or something like that. And most of those work for the push notifications. Again, you can do that by going to marfooglenews.com. Again, that's marfooglenews.com. Click the little red bell. It's right there. It looks like this. Got it? Can I turn off the echo? Okay. Thank you. Johnny Rax, count me in on the EMP giveaway. I'll put up 2. Nostic, Twilistar. We'll talk to them. We talk to Andrew on a regular basis. Those guys are awesome. We will try to get something going. A lot of people are talking about it because of the new orders. Again, if you guys don't know about the new stuff going on with the grid, get educated. That's, again, another reason why we're working with them in the first place. We believe we'll end up saving lives in the end. If anything like that happens, it will be a huge asset to everybody, especially if you have a generator in a car, period. One of T-Man's personal valets has tested positive. You guys can go into this later on. Make sure to go check it out. Again, what do you think about this? It's just...
If I can add to it, Adam.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Also, since this... So two things have happened from this. Once, he actually spoke about it this morning. He said the guy was on a 3-day break and he came back in and, he tested. So, and he said he's a great kid, and I guess he's obviously young, whoever he's describing when he was talking about him. But he said what they're going to do now is, instead of testing periodically, they're testing daily now in the White House. So, and then what I think, because they started doing that over the last 2 days, we'd had 2 announcements today from the VP's team. I think the press secretary for the VP and maybe an aide or someone else have also shown up positive now. But it's probably due to additional testing.
Now, so we're obviously going to hear about this. I've got some opinions on this. I'm going to keep them to myself for now. I'm going to let you guys know at a later time. Yeah, but if you were getting tested daily, that huge swab going up there on a daily basis, hopefully they've got a new thing, because...
Oh, no, he said they're using the 5-minute test from Abbott Labs. That's real simple. I think it's a cheek or the edge of the nose, and they can... That's how they had to put 2 of those into the White House.
I would do that all day.
Because there were so many people he was meeting with that they had to test everybody coming through the door.
But how much does that cost taxpayers? What's crazy is this little swab and like little test subject. How do they charge thousands and stuff for things like that? How in the medical field, stuff like that, like literally... Say you have to do a swab or a DNA test or something like this. When you really look at it, you take a swab of something, then it's put into like a liquid and it's got a special machine, but then they charge thousands of dollars. And I'm not even exaggerating. With this, I don't know. It might be $5. But in general, some of these things that literally the machine might cost $20,000, but beyond that, they'll charge $3,000 and then use that machine 40 million times and charge $3,000 each time. I don't get it. I don't understand how the U.S. does their medical system, but again, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother channel. In fact, Healthcare Sucks is one of our Foogle fam channels. You might want to check that out.
Yeah, there's some interesting things if you want to, if the Foogle fam wants to go do some searching on patents for the tests for CV and how long they've been there and who held them and didn't allow others to use them.
Yeah, we'll put links on our website for all of that kind of stuff, and you guys can go down a couple other rabbit holes. Google affiliate abandons futuristic neighborhood project. As far as this, we covered this a year ago. We covered even the ideas of this. Apparently, they are abandoning it. Says a Google affiliate on Thursday abandoned plans to build a futuristic neighborhood on Toronto's lakefront that was to include robots for delivering mail and collecting garbage, citing economic uncertainty. Instead, they ended up saying that they were going to replace their employees with robots that deliver mail and collect garbage. No, I'm just kidding. But that's probably what's going to happen. They're like, oh, no, we're not going to build a city. We're just going to replace our entire staff. Sidewalk Labs, a subsidiary of Google's parent Alphabet, had proposed building a carbon-neutral community. Carbon neutral. So it puts off as much oxygen as it does carbon. From the internet up, where tall buildings would be made of timber and technology would be geared to catering every aspect of modern living. No thanks. All right, you guys, we're going to get the phones open here. Remember, you can go to marfooglenews.com to read any of the articles we mentioned here. And if you want to support us in a different way, everybody is on their computers 24/7. you should have a VPN, a virtual private network that actually protects your computer, your PC, your phone. In fact, you can do 6 devices at the same time. So if you have kids and they are on tablets, make sure to get a VPN on that. Then people will not be able to get in there, get your credit card numbers, get all sorts of stuff that you didn't even think was stored on there. It will hide your IP from the bad guys. And again, even through this, they've had 24-hour support. So make sure to check it out, marfooglenews.com/VPN. It helps the channel, and you get a huge discount, up to 70% or more off of on their best plans. marfooglenews.com/VPN. All right, Dex, I'm going to pop over to chat. Let's get the first caller lined up. It looks like our first caller is, let's see here. Again, marfooglenews.com. Let's pop over here. Angela, thank you. 4110. Great info tonight. Thanks. I love Beagles. J. Beal. Obey 777. Serenity. Number 2 Pencil says, congratulations on Global Partner. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, now that we are getting a Global Partner, I've noticed that there's some trolling that has come out. I think that anybody, I guess apparently anytime anybody gets a Global Partner, they come out of the woodworks. So we'll see what happens with that. I appreciate you guys. I saw some negative stuff, and then somebody stood up and was like, you ain't talking about the Foogle fam like that. So I thought that was pretty freaking cool. All right, let's see here. West Virginia Prepared Mind. One of our awesome mods is in there. CJ Blaze. Bones. What's going on? Ga Bunny. Back-ass words, weird world. Thank you for sticking around and staying in the chat here. We've got Skydancer, red, white, blue. Yeah, I'm not going to explain that. All right. So, again, let's get over here. Let's open up the Chiznat. Gnostic. Love it. All right. Reed 55. What is going on, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. And then Ari. Ari 55. You guys, where are you at? I don't know if you're here tonight. Been making awesome Skywatcher. Okay, let's see here. That's what's up. Trying to find my color. All right, first up, we've got Dave. Dave, you were live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hey, Adam. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I was talking to Dex. Yeah, he's got a video up of I caught a couple C-17s flying. They flew right over my house, and I'm really close to Boeing Field and SeaTac. I'm kind of in between, and they flew right through that airspace, which I thought was totally bizarre. And I've been noticing a lot more military aircraft flying into Boeing and the Boeing Field because I live about a half mile east of the flight path.
Now, can I ask you, did you end up hearing the sonic boom the other night? A lot of my friends did, but I did not. I think I was in the basement.
No, I didn't, but I'm thinking that might be earthquake booms because there's a lot of activity lately around here. And
so
if it was a sonic boom,
well,
I think more people would have heard it.
Well, actually, here's the thing. So I think it's like something like 6,000 reports came in from, I think, 5 different cities. I mean, people heard it from all over Washington. In fact, Yakima, people in Yakima and Bothell and Auburn and Redmond. So a lot of people heard this one, and they had a video of it. But again, then last night, more people heard another one. So all of these people ended up reporting on last night's. But I will say this. I've heard huge, loud, rumbling explosions. I'm nowhere near a what you would call like a shooting range or anything like that. And I'm like, where do these come from? And I totally believe you. Have you ever heard loud explosions and you're thinking, gosh, that has to be a car crash or something?
Yeah, I've heard lots of booms. Well, I live in Skyway, so I hear a lot of gunfire around here too. So, but you notice the booms, and people do have fireworks around here because we're in King County. We're not in the city, so they can get them and they hold them all year and they light them off every once in a while. But it's nothing like what you're saying, like a big boom, like a sonic boom. Yeah, but I'll keep my ears open and I'll definitely let you know if I do hear something.
Well, and so by the way, it's kind of special. I lived in South Park, right under the line of planes, right by Boeing, right on the other side of the bridge from one of Boeing Field.
Oh, so those planes flew right over you then. That's where they were going.
Well, that's where I used to live.
Through the approach path.
So just so you know, even living there, I did not see planes like this. So I guess, and you being there, you kind of see those planes all day, every day, but you don't see things like this. So you know what's coming in and out. This is what we've been getting reports of all week. So I don't know why there's so much military action coming out of Boeing.
Yeah, because they flew right through the approach path for SeaTac, which is restricted airspace. So, I mean, they blasted right through all this restricted airspace, which is, it's bizarre.
Yeah, that is.
It was around 14:55 is when I saw him. So right, almost 3 o'clock. So you're probably getting ready for the show. You probably didn't hear him.
No,
yeah, and that's exactly where they were.
Now I'm too far. I would not hear Boeing, but again, thank you for reporting this. And again, you can actually get on us, email us this kind of stuff, especially since you're in that area. I'd love it if you kept contact with us and let us know if you see any of that, or text our show line if you see or catch anything weird coming out of there, because you have a great vantage point as far as where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, dude, I see a lot of activity, like I said, a lot of military activities picking up, way more than I'm used to seeing. So something's going on, Mark. So stay safe out there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dave. You have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. Marf out. Togomo Gaming, man. I will return that. I will return everything I see, and sometimes I didn't see. By the way, Togomo, I just wanted to say thank you. Also, I just thought it was so awesome. One of my favorite streamers on here, who's probably not on here, is Gives a Minute. And Gives a Minute does something every time somebody does a certain type of donation. So if they do a what do you call it? If you do the Tokomo special, because the Tokomo Gaming was the first person to do it, was a Ninja Genie, a diamond, and a lemon. So then he does this very special thing where he does a cheers, and he does Tokomo's face over it, like superimposed, and it says Tokomo special. But Gives a Minute does that, and I just thought it's so cool that this community has little stuff like that. And Tokomo, you supported me. You are a GP, and you supported me. All of the people that came out and ended up supporting, I really appreciate it. Let's see here. And then Auntie M. Let's see here. Currently busy with my own thing, but wanted to say congratulations on GP. Well deserved. Thank you. That seriously means a lot. Cutthroat Mom. One Wascally Wabbit. Thank you. John Doom. Jay Beal. Again, thank you, Tokomo. Tokomo special. I do it every time I go to Gives a Minute stream, by the way. Every single time. I thought it was very unique. The whole Guinea, lemon, or a Guinea, whatever. All of Gives a Minute is unique. He's literally one of the hardest working streamers as far as streamers go. So make sure to check out Gives space minute. Gives a Minute. All right. Let's see here. From Canada, Doc Bill, thank you so much for the super chat. You can always write something with that. You can shout out somebody else. You can say hi. Anything you want. So for whatever reason, this is not exiting out. Let's see here. Okay, up next we have Rusty. Rusty, you were live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Marv, how you doing?
Absolutely great. How are you doing, Rusty?
I'm doing very well. I wanted to say thank you very much to Dex and you for everything that you do. My wife and I listen to you all the time, and everything you do is just absolutely great. I have two things that I wanted to bring up real quick. I'm not going to say who I work for, but my job takes me all over the state. And one thing that I've noticed as of recent are a lot of the train tracks that have been not used in, I'd say, well over 40 years or more. There's been companies coming in, clearing all these tracks. I've seen different types of equipment that they put on the tracks to like groom the stones on the sides, bring them up level and pack them. And this is going on in all different parts of the state. I'm hoping that other residents in New Hampshire are seeing this and maybe starting to question as to why. Obviously, you're going to need tracks if you're moving heavy equipment, large things, and it seems rather odd to me. The second thing I wanted to bring up real quick, excuse me, the other night, my wife and I were watching the local news, and one of the anchors made a very brief statement about the internet service in my immediate area being greatly improved. He mentioned a couple of other surrounding towns. There's 5 in total, but they didn't say, or he did not say, how this was going to come about. So I find these things to be awfully weird, and I'm wondering if there are other people out there that are seeing or experiencing these types of things.
So you're okay. So on the first one too, and I apologize. They're adding a bunch of train tracks or subtracting. My earphones were buzzing.
Not adding tracks. They're refurbishing the existing tracks. We're talking tracks literally that probably have not been used in 40 years, maybe even longer. Okay. Tracks that had huge saplings and stuff growing on them, where they've literally come through, they've cut them all down. They've had equipment out on the tracks to make sure that other types of equipment can pass over them. And like I said, it's not just going on, in one part of the state. It's going on in all areas of the state that I have seen in my travels.
Oh, wow. I saw a couple things, and there was a lot of pushback apparently about them doing something with those old tracks. And then I found this other thing from last year. In that area, they have the old rail line in Concord having a business that actually does these pedal vehicles that people can rent the pedal vehicle and then ride on the tracks. Looks like it.
I did hear something about that too. However, it wasn't maybe about a year ago that I did see a train on the tracks that was carrying some military equipment, mostly Humvees. And the train had actually stopped at the point where the new refurbishing of the tracks began. So it kind of makes me wonder, with everything going on in the world today, that, they may come out and tell you, oh yeah, sure, we're going to use this for public, get on a little car, have fun, go down the tracks. But I think in reality, there might be something a little different going on.
Well, thank you for letting us know. As far as the news saying that all of a sudden your service is going to get way better, I'm pretty sure that's because like 24/7 right now they're putting up those new towers, they're putting up everything. You've got supposedly the star system or the Starlink being put up, and I have no idea why that, all of that is going on. I don't know if that's actually their service getting better or them turning it up or what. We've got several people in New Hampshire, and they, they said the same thing. Amy R, there's all sorts of people over there that I would love to hear from if you guys agree or if you heard that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was kind of actually distressing, when the anchor had presented the just the very short phrases that he was using. But I mean, he was very non-specific. And the thing is the area that I'm in and the surrounding towns that he had mentioned, we're talking very country, lots of hills, lots of valleys. And as far as, towers, they're very few and far between out here. So it's still, kind of making me wonder what exactly was he trying to convey to everybody.
Well, I'd love to actually see the little clip, and I'm sure once I say something, somebody will have that clip on there, and probably send it to me. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Rusty. Let's see here. Rusty, it's your first time called. Don't make it your last, okay? Please call us back, and have your wife call in with you at some point.
That sounds great, Marf. We just want to say real quick, God bless you, God bless Dex, and the Marfoogle family. Full armor of God, my friend.
Put it on. All right, you have a great day. Rusty and Mrs. Rusty, have a good night, and I hope you will call in as well. All righty, and then up next we have Artistic Light. I think the screen name is Artistic Lightwork. And let's see here. Artistic Lightwork, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Marf, you all right?
Yeah, we're good. What's going on?
Oh, man, nothing too much, man. I'm up here in Michigan. I actually was down in Louisville, Kentucky I've been following you for like the last, maybe 5 years. And I don't know if you remember me or not, but I'm the guy with the uncle that works for the DOD.
Yes. Yes and no. I remember, didn't you talk about Raytheon last time?
That was during when Operation Hot Musket was in progression.
Okay.
And, I was trying to get some information from him about, hey, what's going on? And he wouldn't tell me nothing. And he basically said in so many words, I'm just trying to live my best life right now. He was training soldiers to go over to Afghan. And I myself, I served in the military during 95 to 98. I came out of Special E, Spec 4. And, but one thing that I wanted to kind of like, I'm seeing everything progress and it's being done state by state. It's not being done like what we thought it would be like when we were, when we were talking about these things, in the beginning, like years before probably even before you got to where you're at right now. And the only thing that I'm like, I think a lot of us are waiting for, but it seems like we're looking for somebody or maybe one or two people to be leaders of the resistance. And that's where we're at right now. We are the resistant. You're the resistant. JWTV is the resistance. John X Army is the resistance. We all are the resistance. But when are we going to get to a point where we're actually seeing all these governors implicate everything, little by little, and it's almost like they're trying to test the people. And
so before we get
I've been following other YouTubers.
I understand what you're saying. You're basically saying the community needs a few good leaders. So I just want to let you guys know we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in Discord, and if it gets much worse than this, I'm probably going to be 24/7 in Discord, and I'll invite people like JWTV and all these other people to actually join us, and not just to be like talking about what our theories are, but in the Discord with our 50 state groups, and then combine our people. But I do have to say, we've only got 5 minutes, so I wanted to try to get through a lot of this. We've got 3 different articles. You said Washington State now has another bug to worry about after murder hornets, which is gypsy moths.
Yep.
That's pretty weird.
Crazy. That's crazy. We don't even know where. I don't even know where that came from. But I mean, apparently, the ecosystem. Here's my theory on this. Even with the CV. Okay, now let's look at global warming. Okay, and I just threw this theory out there for even my family members to think about. Global warming. Years ago, they said that we had an issue with global warming. North Pole and South Pole, the ice caps melting. Now, within those ice caps, you have viruses that were frozen for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And now that we have this so-called global warming issue going on, the ice caps are melting. So all these different viruses that's been frozen for all these thousands and thousands of years, and now the ice caps are melting. Who's to say that the CV and other viruses
wasn't ancient?
Because there's they're ancient. They either they're ancient or this is a biological attack on people around the whole world.
Well, either way, and actually,
that's just something.
That is a pretty interesting thing. Or what if these bugs were somehow? What if we find out these bugs are like some of the? I don't know if you've ever seen on National Geographic. There's a couple bugs and a couple frogs that can actually stop their heartbeat, totally be frozen, and then unfreeze, and then they just go about their business. What if the murder hornets were like that? Scary. Yeah. So, okay. So we've got two more things to touch on real quick, and I wanted to make sure you got to all your points. We've got Israeli disinfectant kills 100% of viruses, so not 99%. Is that what this says?
That's 100%. 100%. And like my whole thing is, okay, bring it on. Let's try to get. Somebody should be getting in contact with Israel and getting this disinfectant distributed all across the whole world instead of everybody getting vaccinated.
Well, without saying the V word again, I totally understand. I don't know what that extra 0.1 would do though. Like as far as the point 1. That is funny you said that because like there's never the 100%. What is that 0.1 that doesn't get said? It's just weird.
And
then
an interesting thought.
That it's weird. Everything's 99.999999 because they think basically they don't want to get in trouble for something getting through. Okay, and then there's one last thing here. Let's see.
And that was off of the Jerusalem Post, for anybody that wants to.
Don't worry, everything that you said is going to be linked on our website. So again, all of the callers and all of the articles here. There's a third one which I'm going to pull up and just show you real quick. The CV detected in semen. Jury's out on whether the virus can be transmitted sexually. So this is something I actually covered the other day. Yeah. So I'm not going to really go much into detail on this because this is, again, something I have a pretty big opinion on. But it just seems like they just keep coming out with brand new news, and everything before kind of gets thrown away. But yet we haven't changed the rules and the things about it. It's really weird. So, but I want to thank you for calling. And
no problem.
Artistic Lightwork.
Man, I love your show, man. I you've inspired me. I've actually back in 2018 I had my own show. It was called The Round Table, and I actually still got it up on YouTube. I just haven't posted anything new. I actually deleted a lot of things like John X did, being premature about things. But I thought that the alphabet people were watching me, And
They are.
so I was talking about Skylink, and I deleted everything about that. And we're at this point where they're being blatant about all of that, even AI.
Yep. Well,
Crazy.
they've got an algorithm set to your name, I'm sure. Well, I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Artistic Lightwork. Again, call in again. You don't have to wait 2 years to call every time. All right.
Yeah, I just got kind of distracted with my personal life and stuff. Kind of got down and out, got fired from Fours, and now I'm waiting to go back with them and making that good money. But I'm not for sure about that. You know, with everything being at a standstill and unemployment being at its highest with our current
Yes, that is the news.
Leader. Yeah. You know, it's crazy how things are going right now. But all we can do is just pray. And I know that you're a believer, and the Most High is looking after you and your family. And I thank you for people like you, because if it wasn't for people like you, then I believe that a lot of people would still be asleep.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Again, Artistic Lightwork, you don't have to wait 2 years to call again. I would love to hear from you again. And again, a lot of the things that you are saying are absolutely correct. And thank you for calling in with links. That always helps. And then we've got John up next. John, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Adam, hey, it's so good to meet you and catch up with you. I've got two very clear UFO photos I wanted to show you, and I just want to give a little background. You got me?
Yes, I just noticed, by the way, the gentleman said the V word, via nation, and I literally got this red notice on my side that says we started buffering, and it skipped a bunch of frames. I have to let everybody know, Dex does a great job of telling people, but then people forget. The filter words are not just for demonetization. That doesn't matter on DLive or anything like that. It's the fact that things will just come to a stop. We'll get Wikipedia things underneath our videos. We get shadow banned. All of a sudden, we're deleted for no reason and nobody knows why. That's why we do the things we do for the reasons we do. And we have continued to grow through every single adpocalypse, everything. And again, our things get yellow anyways. Our videos are not suitable for all advertisers. They might have a penny ad that, AJ could put one of his vitamin commercials on that doesn't care who it goes to, just wants eyeballs. But again, that's why we are so careful, and we ask every caller to try not to say like the 10 huge filter words. That's all. But again, it's great to catch up with you as well. And again, you were going to call about, you've got these pictures. I've got the links pulled up here, John. When were these taken?
Great. So I received the daytime photo from a sister in Christ up in Kentucky, and
cool.
That was taken on February 16th. She was doing the dishes, and she heard in prayer, talking with Jesus, hey, stop taking dishes, or stop doing dishes. Go take a photo of the sun right now and go send it to your brother. And I'm in Florida. So she obeyed, and she took the photo, and she sent it. Well, if you zoom up right at the very top, the Lord pointed my eyes right to it. It's kind of, unmissable. There is a very clear craft right above the sun, and you can very clearly zoom in and see the contours and shape of this thing. What happened next is pretty interesting. If you would go to maybe like the next photo, I've zoomed in on the craft. I do have Photoshop skills, and I've watched, the likes of other YouTubers who explain how to.
Looks like Superman.
Out, what were you saying?
It almost looks like Superman. It could have been Superman or Harry Potter. You left those options out.
Right. Well, if you follow Star Wars at all, it kind of looks like a Mon Calamari cruiser. It's like it's just a weird looking.
That's hilarious.
Craft and.
I just built one.
So say that again?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just built one out of Lego, so that's awesome. But yeah.
Right? You can. It's so accurate. Well, what's interesting is if you look around it, and I'm sorry if there's a little bit of like a maybe 1 or 2 second buffer here, but if you look around the craft, you're going to see some lensing, and it's artifacting straight from the craft itself. I think maybe, however this was, we were allowed to capture this. It looks like the area around the craft is heated up, and maybe that's causing some sort of cloaking or aerosol lens, whatever they're chemtrailing up there. If you go to even the next 2 photos real quick,
That's literally...
you'll just see that I darkened the contrast, I changed saturation, tried to bring out as much of that detail as possible.
If you can, try not to say sea trailing, because that's the other one of the 10 words that's filtered that will get us a Wikipedia under our video. I've never had every caller say
the
one.
only one I didn't think about. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Oh my gosh. And it's everybody, so it's fine. Okay. So and then so this, when it goes to green, is that negative? What did you do to that one? That's just negative colors?
That was really weird, and you just have to believe me. I asked Jesus, hey, you obviously uncovered this. What do I need to do? Dude, he took me on some weird Photoshop channel mixing thing, and I just clicking where I was hearing lead, and green really makes these things stand out. But using some of those tips from other YouTubers, if I were to bring the contrast out, the brightness, some of that lensing should have gone away, but it's telling me that it's reflecting. So it's just very interesting.
Too bad you didn't have thermal. Man, that would have been so cool if you had a FLIR.
I was just trying to see if I can, yeah, right? I was just trying to see if I can get rid of that glare around the craft, but I just kept getting that they might be using that in whatever they're doing up there. This, I just wanted to, it reminded me of so much of the black, well, I don't even know if I could say that thing floating around that, now this photo, the grid in the sky, that happened exactly 5 minutes after.
Oh, weird.
And it was very weird. If you continue on, you'll see that those nice little puffy clouds soon they turn into like a maelstrom in the sky. It was very, very weird. So we see the craft, they grid the sky, and then these next few photos, they just ruin the sky. I don't know what they did to it, but
I see
in
it every
prayer,
day.
I got that they were maybe portaling in. It's hard to believe, but I mean, I've got crazier photos, and
nothing surprises me.
These to me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying nothing surprises me at this point.
Yeah, this one was crazy. This was exactly 2 days later, and by the way, I just want to say, we're not affiliated with like any church or YouTube pastors. We've had blind faith in just what we've been hearing in prayer, which is, hey, the fallen are coming. They're here. They're from behind the moon, behind the sun. We're seeing it. And this was the first time in 6 months of photographing the sky as he leads that we were able to see this stuff. So it was major confirmation. This one, I was driving my wife's car down the road to get her gas one night, and I saw 3 lights in the sky. And I heard take a photo, and I did. Well, when I got to the end of that road, I noticed that it was just an airplane, right? So, I was driving back, late in bed. I really questioned my hearing, In the morning, the Lord told me, look back at those photos and look above the power lines. And I saw 2 identical craft. You could almost see the engines on these things. It's like a bluish whip. You can see it without any filter. And this was above, and I don't mind giving this out, the Santa Fe College here in Gainesville, in Florida. And they were just hovering right there. Well, I take that drive to work. And I took another photo the next day, and there's nothing there. I thought maybe there's a building, maybe it was like construction. I know they're doing, there was nothing there. And those 2 were identical. I even looked at my dash thinking maybe it was a weird reflection, but very, very, very strange.
So
I don't really know what else to call it other than demonic.
What we'll end up doing is we'll share these pictures so everyone will have access, so you guys can actually go and look at these and inspect them yourself, because it's not going to portray in 720p or even 480p how some people watch it. We'll make sure that you guys can go on your own computer and actually look into it and see the the quality pictures. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of these with us, and thank you for sharing your stories about this. In fact, we do have some green photos here at the end. Is that there's a story behind those real quick?
Yeah, like I said, the Lord's really been leading me to green. Green brings these things out. And I've got other photos, but these were the most interesting ones. If you zoom in to, I think it's the very last one, it's in green, or they're even blue. If you zoom in, you're able to see the hoops in these craft. You're able to see that it's like two-dimensional, so you'll see two triangles almost fit together like a ship. And then you have the identical little whip engine at the bottom. I don't really know how to explain that other than, in prayer we're hearing that the fallen are here. And I don't know about you, but when the Lord tells us, hey, go outside your window, take a photo. Hey, go take a photo of this thing at night. And there's craft here. I don't know what else to tell you, but the Lord is coming soon, and just look up. And that's really what I wanted to say, is just maybe this will get people off the fence.
I see the power lines now, and I get what you mean, because the daytime photo. So these three lines are the power lines, and then that. That is the same area.
I tried to take a photo. Say that again?
Yeah, no, I see it. Weird. Wait a second. Why is part of the phone lines?
Because
wait
they
a
were
second. The part of the power lines
on the screen. It was that looks like water on the windshield.
Oh, okay. So it's distorted that part of it. See, and that's even cool that you said, nope, that was water. You probably looked at this with a fine-tooth comb, and you're like, nope, that was a water droplet on the windshield. I see it over here, too. I get you.
I did everything I could to kind of disprove it, and it was like, nope, this is total confirmation that what we've been hearing for 6 months. This is what blind faith does. When he says something, you pay attention, and this is proof.
Well,
I mean, it's remarkable what we were able to uncover.
Well, can I also point out, and it might be dirt on the hood, but in the cloud, on the daytime picture, there's that black spot. I just thought that was kind of weird. It's between the two trails, and it's right at the bottom, a little bit right of the middle trail. When you look at the screen, I'm circling it on the screen. It's just like this dark spot in the clouds. I thought that was and it's not on my screen because if I move
and I really couldn't tell you if that was just like a dirty windshield or whatnot. However, I mean, Florida, However, I have other photos of just very, the clouds would be puffy, but there's this perfect triangle cloud in the sky. And I've got several of those. I mean, there's very weird activity here. And my wife and I have been able to hear it. It just kind of sounds like a low rumbling. We hear helicopters because there's a hospital nearby. That's normal. When you hear what just sounds like an ominous ship hovering, and then you pray in Jesus' name, make this thing go, and it stops instantly every time, and then you're taking photographs of it down the road, it's just very weird. So just keep a watch and just keep praying and have that faith.
Well, thank you so much, and God bless you for calling and sharing your pictures. I appreciate you. Please call in again. If this is your first time call, don't make it your last, okay?
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much, and take care. Sorry for the flag word. I really didn't mean that.
No, and I do it too. Just the other day, I did it, and I didn't even catch myself. I appreciate you, and don't worry about it. You have to understand, we're fighting an algorithm war. We're not even fighting human beings. We're fighting an algorithm. That's basically how to put it. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful, blessed night. Bye-bye. Tadudika. Hey, Marf, Dex, Mods, fam, congrats on GP. Couldn't get lemons on D Live. Late to the show today. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. I'll try to call in next week. Thanks for always keeping it real and stay off the crack. Sincerely, Tuck Pup. I promise I will stay away from the crack. Tuck Pup. Thank you, and I appreciate that. I think that's probably the first thing I say to old friends after I haven't seen them in a while. Stay off the crack. Thank you. I appreciate that. On the other hand, let's see here. Dex, great show. I've got to
Yes.
get to family, so it's going to be a short shoutro.
I've got everything loaded up, including all those photos. So if anybody wants to go check them out,
so I'm
they're
going to
on the
show you.
website.
I'm going to show you guys. This is really freaking sweet. So on our website, marfooglenews.com, when you go there now, it's actually all updated. So check this out. This is so cool. By the end of a live show, it is 5:30 p.m. Boom. You go to the callers are all there. So the C-17's over Seattle. The John's unidentified objects, all of the 17 photos he sent in are right there. Is that not the coolest thing in the world? Artistic Lightworks articles, all 3 are right there. All of the articles that we talked about in the first call, all of the show's articles, everything is right there. On the right side, if you saw a product that you wanted to help us with and support, you can go all on the right side of the channel, or you can go to our store at the top. We do appreciate all of the support, you guys. The super chats, the lemons, the diamonds, the guineas, the however you're supporting us, that tangible support goes towards us expanding and making this bigger. So I appreciate all of you guys doing that. I know Dex does. Again, it is not a one-man band, so thank you guys for supporting us. Okay, and then make sure to say thank you to mods in both platforms. They do an amazing job keeping this a fun and safe and amazingly positive place to be in. Of course, we're going to shout all of them out right now. On the other hand, End Times, thank you again for supporting on both platforms. Tuck Pup and everybody else. Amy R. for supporting in general, just period. Thank you all. And thank you to all of the callers tonight. Dex, thank you to the Dexes out there. Autocorrect to sex, whichever one you prefer.
Either way, whatever. Just let it happen. I love you, Adam. Great show, man.
Let it happen. Okay, it's now time officially for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro.
Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. 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 Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. 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 Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Be a bad boy and take the mask off. Everybody really wanna go sticker. Coming back around now, you know we thicker. Go Miss Jackson, sending dogs in the chicken wall, going back around Miss Pogs. Hey Susan Big, hey Still Letty. Hey Tuckamo, Gaming and Jetty. Kelly 2334, thank you for all of your love and support. And the heavens calling, and the northeast okay, bringing it right back, being a bad mascot. A cutthroat mom with the Miss Jackson. Coming right back now, enough action. We gotta start talking and start packing. Coming right back and you know who we smacking. Hello, Mr. Johnny Doom, drunken shaman. Coming right back and you know we got ramen. Cause we prepare for the prepared about and the loving and the JoJo with that big fog. Early bird with the gem and the psyop with that
Simon and the key, the 1, 2, 3 with the deuce. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. Coming with the bum back run and run, mama. Yeah, they roll with the Lexi Dexy and the T-Bory Jojo and Queen Fisher RM. Gonna bring back with that cowbell. Gonna hit it back like you know no cowbell. We'll be on the pandemic. 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 Bad mascot, take the mask off. Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Man Mike barefoot last. Cat had a white flag girl in the last. Barefoot last, that is, with the kids at 30. Going back around next gen and Miss a Dirty. I'm Mickey V, got a pencil number 2. Dex J and a figure 92. Bring it right back like Troy McClure. Bro Osborne, oh you sure? Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. 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 Mr. Mommy, say big go drama. Come back around and you got that bummy. Miss a fit bar, bring it back hard. Wanna go back like Susan Donahue. Going back to, gonna do it right. Everybody really wanna go back, so I'm gonna do it, everything that you do. Go permanently going back with the Northern Ninja and everybody like that. Top contributor Amy R is a queen and everybody go by far. And the Tokomo game in number 3. Why did you do so much to me? And I I will tell you I will give it right back with the end times on that number 2 spot in the pool.
Really wanna go back funky with the number 2 pencil and the BW. Calm down, it's just me, Johnny Dumb, with the somebody special stormy weather and a pit singer, and I'm on about to bring it back with the killer. I'm about to do it just like Jeff Farm. Number 1, not number 2, no harm. Lady Sylvanius and the friend of Francis, gonna go with the Feliciana, bring it to ya. I never get the OM Doom and Owen the Johnny Doom. Got a constant burrow and then one more time. I'm about to bring it back around and then you drop that bomb like a channel jammer. Bring it back around like your mom. Oh wait, maybe it's just that mom. And I'm ready to Steve, come and be. I'm about to be the bad Billy Bob. Don't really give up. Not gonna say it cause it's off. Femi with the Sayers and Pew and the Susan Donahue. Gonna bring it like Stewie and the Ron D. Gonna bring it back lame like your name is Ron D. Hey Miss Anton, I come back fondly with the soft dose, and a nice shade. Maybe I just might get my soft dose.
Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Be a bad mascot, take the mask off.
Gonna be a cutthroat mom. Bring it right back with the KTV bomb. Love pug with the chicken wall, bring it down. And if you're in the show live, then you get a name now. Hey, yabba dabba sexy, don't be a pervert. Listen, Murray, thanks for in Uber. Going to bring, and the heaven ain't easy. So I'm 95 and everybody getting jizzy.
Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Be a bad mascot, take the mask off.
Never know, never have to say. Gonna hang out with Miss Doxy J. Or maybe hanging out with Miss Linda Way. bagels. I'm about to eat it like I'm about to eat bagels. I'm about to get my Lana Jane and I bring it like hot wire Bob. I'm about to hot wire car. Gotta go back like a T-boy. Gonna tell you only half of the story. Bring that song like a number 95. Bring it right back, tuck up by my side. Sip a doodles, a sip a doodles, a sip a doodles, a sip a doodles, a sip a doodles gonna rotate my shoulders. Never told you I will never be older. I'm about to bring it back like you're never getting older, like a motor. X-Files motor. I'll never be a meaner. I will grab my Angela M and Sestina. I'm about to go back around about the James Hall and the God the Mount of Mount Low. I tell you what, we just hit one more rap photo and love another man. That cushion door, Dark 76, and you know I'm about to go back round, baby, bow. Miss my last and I gotta go. My re-shop in the rest of you know. Hey, stormy weather gonna bring back now. The sunshine's coming back around. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News, I'm looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News. Marfoogle and the rest of why. Green Days 9 in the Ecto Y. Gonna bring him back like a Foogle fam. Gonna bring it back like a Doogle wham. I'm boom bop, I'm a dooba dop day. Boom bop, I'm a dooba dop day. Boom bop, dooba dooba dop day with the spindles. I'm gonna bring it back. Oh, and I chose ya, Lindsay and that WV and the V go with not new in the end and the girl and that band. Gotta go back like the Carolina low. Oh, oh, gotta bring it back and I know. Oh, gotta be back and you know. Oh, gotta bring it back with the James Cole. Bobby, 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 Bobby. Is it live? Never know. Got to go head. I've been gonna say heavy go. Hey, looking outside of my
window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News. I'm just gonna go walking back and they what you gonna bring back. I'm gonna go back now, attack like a Chewbacca. Gonna bring it back and attack Jim and Angela M. Gonna go back like I never ever stand, like a minute with a cab and a 1-1 edge. Gonna go back now, oh now, crazy guy day. Gotta go same, do everything that you can with the deep and Mr. Man. Captain Sky going by, I want that water, may watch out. I'm gonna call like the honey pie. You're gonna bring that news out yours. Oh, and mine, hit my nerves. Gonna bring back and you ain't scared. Cause we're gonna clean the door. Gotta go back and love for you. Da, 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 da. By the way, I hope you guys have a great night. I've got family over. I'm going to go say hello to them because they've been watching the whole time. So thank you, Joanna W. and everyone else who supported tonight. Thank you for everyone here. But no, I especially want to say thank you to Amy R.
I especially want to say thank you to End Times, Amy R, Kokomo Gaming, Haja Fly Girl, and Reed 55. Gonna bring you back now, heaven's calling. I love beagles and everybody's calling. Then everybody wanna be that caller, but mosquitoes spit now. Gonna bring it back, no, oh shit now. I'm about to do it now, I'm in now. For the Momo big, I'll round up with the dot, two dot, and the sun goes on. I'm about to go closer. Gonna bring it back like I gotta take my clothes off. I'm gonna do everything that you know what. Hey, I'm this over. Woof, gonna bring it on, and you know how. Woof. I'm gonna bring it on down in the Tazatos, and the Bazibos, and the Snap, CJ's in the home, Lisa, hey, oh, okay, I'm gonna bring it back now. Oh, like a head, like a hole, and a hole like a head, and I'm bringing it back down like a rock that's dead. Rock dear friend. You remember that, He made a mud pie, and he put it under eye, and I'll bring it back like Chicky R. Bring it back, car. And the Johnny do ma. I'm bringing that back now, no big girl. Miss Cortana, I'm going out.